Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into the life of Chris Thompson.
A real estate investor who's, well, let's just say he's not your typical real estate guy.
Sounds intriguing. Where are we getting all this info from?
We're pulling most of it from an interview he did on the Level Up podcast.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a great listen. And this particular episode really digs deep into Chris's journey. I mean, where do we even begin? The guy almost joined the Coast Guard.
The Coast Guard. Seriously, I wouldn't have pictured that.
Yeah, but turns out he had flat feet.
Flat feet, you're kidding. That's what stopped him.
Yep, disqualified him right out the gate. Talk about an unexpected twist right from the start.
So how did he end up in real estate? Was it like a family thing?
Well, his dad was a realtor, but Chris, he actually had other plans initially. He even tried computer tech school for a while.
Interesting. But that didn't pan out.
No, those certification exams tripped him up a bit.
I can relate to that. Exams are not my favorite thing either. So what was the turning point? What led him to real estate finally?
Okay, get this. He ends up at a local junior college, right?
Yeah.
But not for real estate, no. He went for lacrosse.
Lacrosse. Wow. Okay, now that's a curveball I did not see coming. So how did he go from lacrosse to real estate?
It's not like the skills directly translate or anything, but it shows his dedication. And listen to this. He actually earned a scholarship to Queen's University of Charlotte, all thanks to his lacrosse skills.
That's impressive. It just goes to show you that sometimes the path you least expect can open up some incredible doors. It's like that saying, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, eventually he did make his way into the real estate world, but it was a whole different world back then. Think faxes, hand-delivered documents.
That's old school. Nothing like the tech-driven industry we have today.
Oh, totally. And he was learning all this during the market downturn of 2007, 2008, working for his dad.
Talk about trial by fire.
Yeah, it was. He had to learn fast and think on his feet. He ended up specializing in short sales, which was a smart move at the time.
Okay, I have to admit, I'm not really a real estate expert. What exactly is a short sale, and why was that a good area to focus on during a down market?
Basically, a short sale happens when a homeowner needs to sell their property for less than what they owe on the mortgage. So during a market downturn, when property values drop, you see a lot more short sales.
Ah, that makes sense. So he found a way to help people in a tough spot while also carving out a niche for himself.
Right. He was able to build his expertise in a specialized area. But what really changed his perspective on real estate was this community called subto.
Subto, I haven't heard of that. What is that?
It's a real estate investing community that focuses on creative deal structuring. Finding win-win solutions for buyers and sellers, even in situations where a traditional sale just wouldn't work.
Creative deal structuring, that sounds interesting. But could you maybe break that down a bit more? I mean, what does that actually involve?
Sure. So basically, it's about thinking outside the traditional buy and sell box. It's about finding solutions that benefit both the buyer and the seller, especially in situations that are a little more, well, complicated.
So instead of just being a middleman in a straightforward transaction, he's finding more creative ways to help people achieve their real estate goals.
Exactly. He discovered Sub2 on YouTube, of all places, and initially thought he knew it all. But Sub2, it opened his eyes to a whole new world of possibilities.
YouTube University strikes again. So how did this Subto approach actually change how he does business? Can you give me an example?
So let's say someone needs to sell their house fast but can't afford to make repairs. A traditional sale might not be an option, right? But a Sub2 investor, they might offer to buy the house as is, taking that burden off the seller.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does the investor benefit from that? They're inheriting a property that needs work. What's in it for them?
Well, they might negotiate something called a lease option agreement. So they lease the property with the option to buy it later, after they've done the repairs. That way, the seller gets out of a jam and the investor gets a potentially good deal down the line.
It's like real estate problem solving, finding a solution that benefits everyone involved. I can see why Chris was drawn to this.
It really shifted his mindset,
Yeah.
From limitations to possibilities.
Yeah.
And it's not just about his own success either. He's a leader in the Sub2 community now, mentoring others. He even started a local group called Western Maryland Dominators.
Wait, Western Maryland Dominators? That sounds intense.
Oh, they are. They do these power hour sessions where they just go all in on cold calling and deal making.
Wow. It sounds like he's built a real community around this approach to real estate. I'm curious, though, the guy has a wife and 5 kids. How does he balance all that with his work?
Well, he credits his wife with a lot of it. He
Oh.
even jokingly called her his gangster wife in the
Oh.
interview, which I thought was funny.
That's a good one. But seriously, it takes a lot of support to manage that kind of workload in a big family.
He talks about waking up early, to get a jump on the day and having clear boundaries between work time and family time. And get this, he's also a big hunter.
A hunter. Now that I did not see coming, where does he even find the time?
He has a 50-acre property, so I guess that helps.
That's amazing. It seems like he's found a way to blend all these different parts of his life.
Yeah.
The real estate, the family, the hunting. It's not what I would have expected, but it's pretty inspiring.
It really is. He's created a life that's rich with experiences and personal fulfillment. And that brings up a really interesting question, when you think about it. Chris talked about his goal, like his ultimate goal being financial freedom, so he could spend more time with his family. What does financial freedom even mean to you? What would you do with, like, more time and resources?
It's funny, because I think a lot of us, we say we want financial freedom, but we don't always actually stop and define what that means.
It's true. We get so caught up in the day-to-day, the hustle, that we forget to think about the bigger picture.
Yeah. For me, I guess financial freedom, it means having taxes, having the flexibility to choose how I spend my time, not being tied to a paycheck.
So being able to pursue your passions.
Exactly. And, spend time with family, maybe give back to the community, things like that.
That's great. And it sounds a lot like what Chris is working towards, too. He's not just building a business, he's building a life.
Mm-hmm.
But can we go back to Sub 2 for a minute? I'm still trying to wrap my head around how these creative deal structures actually work, like in a real-life situation.
Yeah, I think another example would be helpful.
Okay, so imagine a homeowner who's inherited a property, but they can't afford to fix it up or even pay the property taxes. They're kind of stuck, right?
Yeah, I can see how that would be a tough spot to be in.
So a Sub 2 investor might come in and offer a subject-to purchase.
Subject-to? What does that mean?
Basically, they take over the mortgage payments, but they don't actually own the property outright.
So they're assuming the financial responsibility, but not the actual ownership.
Right. It's definitely riskier for the investor, but it can be a win-win. The homeowner gets relief from the debt, avoids foreclosure, and the investor gets control of an asset that, could be valuable down the road.
I see. So it's all about finding a creative solution that works for both sides.
Exactly. Like I said, it's like real estate matchmaking.
That's a great way to put it. But are there any downsides to this Sub-2 approach? I mean, it sounds almost too good to be true.
Well, there are always risks with real estate, right? And with Sub 2, the deals can be pretty complex, so it's really important to know what you're doing legally and financially. That's why Chris is such a big advocate for education and mentorship. He wants people to be informed and avoid making, costly mistakes.
Makes sense. It's not about getting rich quick. It's about building a sustainable business. And one thing that really stood out to me about Chris was his involvement with hunters and farmers feeding the hungry. It's amazing how he's combined his passion for hunting with giving back to the community.
Yeah, that's really cool. It just goes to show that you can use your passions to make a difference. He's taking something he enjoys and turning it into something positive for others.
It's a reminder that success isn't just about personal gain. It's about making a positive impact. Okay, but back to his family for a second. 5 kids, a demanding career, 50 acres to manage. I'm still amazed he finds time for anything.
He talks about the importance of routines and boundaries, like he's a big believer in waking up early, getting a head start on his day, and setting aside dedicated time for family. He makes sure to unplug from work when he's with them.
So it's all about being organized and intentional with his time.
Yeah, and his wife is a huge part of it, too. He talked about how supportive and understanding she is. It really highlights how important it is to have a strong partner when you're juggling so much.
Absolutely. You need someone who shares your vision and helps you stay grounded. It's a team effort, for sure. And, it really makes you think about what success really means, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's not just about money. It's about having a life that you're proud of. A life that includes your passions, your relationships, your contributions to the world.
It's about finding fulfillment in all areas of your life.
And Chris is a great example of that. He's redefining what success looks like. He's building a business that aligns with his values. He's putting his family first. And he's using his success to make a positive impact on his community.
It's inspiring, really. It shows that we don't have to settle for a cookie-cutter definition of success. We can create our own version, one that's authentic and meaningful to us. It really makes you think, Like, what are we working towards? What really matters? And hearing Chris talk about his wife, his gangster wife, it just reminds you that you don't have to do it all alone.
Definitely. Having a good support system, it makes a huge difference. whether it's family, friends, a community like Subto.
Yeah, having people who get you, who support your goals, it's so important. And, thinking about Sub 2, it's not like Chris just stumbled into this whole thing. He was intentional about it. He sought out knowledge. He found mentors, first online, and then by becoming a leader himself.
Totally. He didn't wait for opportunity to knock. He created it. He saw a need and figured out how to fill it using his own unique approach.
And then he took it a step further. He started his own group to share what he learned to help others. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
It is. It shows a real commitment to giving back and lifting others up.
What do you think he would say to someone like just starting out in real estate or anyone thinking about a career change, really?
I think you'd probably say, find your niche, think outside the box. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
And be passionate about what you do, right?
Oh, absolutely. Find something that you truly care about. That's what Chris did with real estate, and that passion shines through.
It all comes back to that question of financial freedom and what it really means. For Chris, it was about having more time with his family, being able to pursue his passions. But it's different for everyone, isn't it?
It really is. The key is to figure out what it means for you and then go after it. Chris's story shows that even if you hit roadblocks along the way,
Even if you have flat feet.
even if you have flat feet, you can still find a way to make things happen.
I love that. It's so true. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Chris's life, I want to leave our listeners with a little challenge. Think about what success means to you. What are your passions? What are your goals? And what's one small step you can take today to start moving towards them?
Don't be afraid to dream big. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Find your people, your mentors, your cheerleaders.
Who knows, maybe one day we'll be doing a deep dive into your inspiring story.
I would love that.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep diving deep.